All right, Bernie Kratz, Tulsi Kratz. I don't even know why I say Bernie Kratz anymore, because I'm not sure. I'm just not sure that the Bernie folks understand what is happening with Tulsi Gabbard and why they're, I don't want to say blind support of Bernie, but it's like Bernie or bust and just get out of our way. It's Bernie time. I wish Tulsi would just, go away because it's Bernie's. He's got the infrastructure. He's got the donations. He's back. His heart is great. I don't think people understand what's happening right now and why what Tulsi Gabbard did was the equivalent of laying the gauntlet down in front of every single establishment tool, both political parties, the news media, the deep state, everything. What she did was incredibly courageous, and I just don't think people understand the gravity of those tweets she sent out on Friday. And you've got elites, by the way, that are backpedaling, they're stepping all over themselves. They're doing this, Hillary. You gotta understand why Hillary is so paranoid. I mean, look at all of these Russian. Okay, here's the thing. If we can't have an honest conversation about what's happening in our world without some kind of conspiracy theory, and you know what? It's funny that this dude who is famous for conspiracy theories, I'm not sure if I should say his name because I might get demonetized because it happens all the time anyway. But this dude who is supposedly big on conspiracy theories, he gets banned. He gets banned from every platform. But as Jimmy Dore says, none of these other people get banned. The Russia collusion hoax is a fake. This idea that Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is being groomed, funded. I don't know how you groom a campaign, but she's being groomed. I mean, is Vladimir on the line with her every day, feeding her instructions on what to do? Sowing discord. I should get the t-shirt, the Jimmy Dore t-shirt, because it does say that on there. You're hearing, well, and this is an easy way for the elites to dance around the allegation and say, well, she's sowing, or the Russians are sowing discord into this campaign because Tulsi Gabbard is supposed to walk in lockstep with the rest of us. So why have 12 or 13 candidates on the stage if you're all supposed to just walk in lockstep? Why have Andrew Yang up there? Why have any of these candidates who purport to have a better way of doing something? It's all a crock because it's all going to funnel down to like an Elizabeth Warren type person who then is going to embody everything about our political establishment. And she's basically, here's who's being groomed. Elizabeth Warren is currently being groomed by the media industrial complex, which includes both major political parties. Republicans aren't afraid of Elizabeth Warren becoming the president. Their 401ks will be great. Their taxes will remain low. Give me a break. Is Bernie a threat? A little bit. But Bernie doesn't have the will. I don't think he has the will to stand up when push comes to shove. When he gets in the White House, if Bernie Sanders were to be elected, will he have the intestinal fortitude like this woman here, Tulsi Gabbard? Let's play this. She just doubled down. This is absolutely astounding. To me, this is, again, think of somebody laying down the gauntlet and saying, I'm here against everybody. This isn't like Donald Trump. Look, Donald Trump had the support of the Republican Party. I mean, maybe not at the very beginning, but certainly once they saw the writing on the wall, they're like, okay, it's Trump time, hey, he's the nominee. We have to rally behind the nominee. You heard that a lot, even building up to it. I mean, people knew something was happening that was different. Trump did lay the foundation for an actual real movement because Trump began to expose the establishment But of course, then he went back and he governed like the establishment. So let's hear from Tulsi Gabbard. This is this is a political drug. That's all I'm going to say. This, to me, was like cracking open a very high level of pure grain alcohol. Okay, and not drinking it too quickly, but you know what I'm saying. It had a very euphoric feeling when you actually consumed or watched this incredible woman talk about what she stands for.
People warned me in 2016 that my endorsement of Bernie Sanders would be the end of my quote-unquote political career. They said Clinton will never forget that she and her rich and powerful friends, her allies in politics and in the media, will make sure that you are destroyed. Well, there have been countless hit pieces full of smears against me from day one of this campaign. They've tried to destroy my reputation and my lifetime of service because I stood up to them. I've spent over 16 years of my life proudly serving in the Army National Guard. I still serve as a major today. I volunteered to deploy to the Middle East twice. I've served in Congress now for nearly 7 years, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, and I am not afraid to openly express my love for our country.
Okay. Number one, you're not supposed to really love the country anymore. So for those of you on the left who hate America because we were founded by guys who owned slaves, who, again, were stupid for owning the slaves, but at a certain point, it's kind of like going back through your genealogy and getting to a point where you find something crappy about your family, and you say, well, our whole family name stinks now. And we can't live in the present day. We can't live knowing that maybe there are some good people in the country. Maybe there have been some brave people who have served in our military. We can question these missions all day long, and that's what we should be doing. Gabbard expresses a love for the country where her fellow candidates do not. And I know that, look, for a lot of people on the left, that offends them. For people who are, I guess, apolitical to a degree, they don't wake up in the morning with pure hatred for the country. They know there are some things that need to be fixed, systemic issues that need to be fixed. But your attitude, you know, Abraham Lincoln said you wake up about as happy as you want to be. And Tulsi Gabbard has some Abe Lincoln. She's got some JFK and Abe Lincoln in her. And again, people don't know what to do with it because they're so tribal. They sit there and they look at her and they go, well, she's not screaming about Russian collusion every day. What's the matter with her? What do you mean she's questioning if Trump should be impeached? Because she's looking at the entire country and they're saying, well, at least 50, if not a higher percentage of the country, because there are some people on the left who are like, let's not do impeachment, because you know what that means? Every time we get a president that we don't like, whatever side, they're going to start to think about impeachment as a tool to get rid of the guy rather than using the ballot box. All right, let's continue with Tulsi.
But if they can falsely portray me as a traitor, then they can do it to anyone. And in fact, that's exactly the message that they want to get across to you. That if you stand up against Hillary and the party power brokers, if you stand up to the rich and powerful elite and the war machine, they will destroy you and discredit your message. But here is the truth. They will not intimidate us. They will not silence us. We are not here just to protest their corruption. I am running for president to take the Democratic Party and our country back from the corrupt elite. I'm running for president to bring about a new Democratic Party and new leadership that will fight for peace, fight for the people, and protect our planet. So I want to ask every single one of you to join me in speaking truth to power. Don't be afraid. Let's root out the corruption in our party and our country. Join me to end the war machine's stranglehold over our leaders and ensure that our government is truly of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Absolutely remarkable. Absolutely astounding what she just did there in that video. Rather than walking something back or saying, look, you know, I didn't mean to offend anybody with what I was saying, or the typical politician that finds a way to kind of weasel out of something that they did or said. I guarantee you she's breaking fundraising records right now. I guarantee you somebody was giving me the stats on how many new followers, one of the patrons that I picked up. And again, thank you for watching this channel and supporting this channel. I've got patrons that are increasing their donations from like $10 to $20 a month, which is incredible. I mean, I don't deserve that, but I appreciate it. Tulsi is the one who deserves that. I mean, on Friday, the first thing I did was I went over to her website, and I'm like, I'm donating, because this was the greatest moment. Could have been the greatest political moment of my life. Watching this woman, you call her an upstart congresswoman from Hawaii, although she's been there for about 7 years, who served our country, who says, you know what, I'm flying right into the belly of the beast. All right? This is courage on display. I have not seen this type of political courage in a long, long time. I can't remember anyone who came along and said, you know what, enough, and had a viable chance to win their party's nomination. She does. She does. She's put herself in a position now where I believe she is a top-tier candidate. And the polling, you know, the Washington Post, the first story they write, she's barely polling at 1%. That's not true. It's false. It's a lie. And she wouldn't have been in that debate. And they constantly underpoll her. I guarantee you they're underpolling Tulsi Gabbard. I think they're doing the same to Bernie, but Bernie doesn't need as much help as Tulsi does. Here's the thing. We all have a choice that we need to make. Are we going to just fold up shop because this looks too tough? I mean, there are days, look, I have a wife and children, and I go to myself, why bother with this? Just try to live your life. Don't bother anybody. Don't hurt anybody. Mind your own business. Conduct yourself appropriately. Try to help those in need around you if you can. And, you know, live by the golden rule, and then that's it. That's all I can do. But I'm seeing our country in a place where, I mean, people are either over-medicated or they're into all kinds of distractions, whether it be sports or music, and I should talk, right, with the music thing. But the thing is, they don't spend any time really examining what really is going on in Syria. And why are we there in the first place? And why do we keep sending people all over the world when there's no conflict that's directly threatening the United States? It's all about, you know, a proxy war here, you know, all of these different geopolitical issues that we have to get ourselves involved with. And look, I'm not naive to the fact that at times we may need to be involved somewhere. But I don't think we should be involved in any of the current conflicts that we're in. Not one of them. Not one. And Tulsi Gabbard, I believe, feels the same way. Look, she just called out the entire political system. Hillary Clinton is at the top of the food chain. Whether we like that fact or not, she is. And all of her defenders came out and just, you know, if the Barbie doll fits or something like that. What did they say about Tulsi Gabbard? What an insult to an Army veteran. Somebody who's a major, all right, and somebody who serves on all of these different committees in Congress who really knows what they're talking about when it comes to foreign policy. The problem is most of the country doesn't. And most of the country doesn't see that if we continue to go down this road, electing the same old, and I'm sorry, okay, you've got a D chair this time, an R chair this time, it doesn't matter. Because you've got this apparatus, this behemoth, this albatross. And until you get control of the albatross, the country is going to remain the same. It's going to be big, call it big military, like big pharma. It's big military, it's big media, it's, of course, big pharma, we'll throw it back in there. It's big banks, right, that control everything. Everything is big and we're little, okay? We're just little pawns that they move around. Oh, there's a little financial crisis here. Okay, we'll print some money, devalue the currency, and make sure that these other guys over here, they're too big to fail. Their executives jump out of the window with a golden parachute. And meanwhile, the workers are fighting for pensions and for health care and things like that. And nobody seems to care. Yeah, I know, Bernie cares, Tulsi cares, and a handful of people, Green Party, some of them care. But overall, it's us against, we have to fend for ourselves. And this is what I mean by, do you drop out and just kind of insulate yourself? Be the local hero, maybe go to the town council, maybe vote in your local elections and see if you can sway some of the stuff going on locally? Or do you fight for these ideals that she's talking about? These are constitutional things. These are things that were found in the Declaration of Independence that still apply regardless of what some on the left want to do with it. Sometimes you have to throw it all out according to them, and I don't buy that. I think what's happening now is if people actually read the Constitution, if you're on the left or the right, you got to be thinking to yourself, well, we're not following this document at all, and these are important things. Except, people can fight about the Second Amendment and so forth, but the Bill of Rights, everything is kind of under attack. And if you don't pay attention to that stuff, I think you're missing the point about how far we've strayed and how far we've allowed the power structure to become corrupted. And the whole thing is like a house of cards. And we don't, and the people around you and I who are walking around oblivious to all of this, I think what a lot of them have done is basically numbed themselves to much of this. It's easy to cash out. It's easy to say this whole process is a joke. People have been doing it every election cycle. Wow, how come they have to campaign for like 18 months? That's a good question. I think all campaigning should start on January 1st of that year, of that election year. We don't need 18 months to figure out who is supposed to be the presidential nominee. Because what this does is the war chest of the powerful gets built up, whereas a candidate like Tulsi has to scrap and fight and not beg, but plead and really use every tool and hope that there are some deep pockets out there. But typically, people who want to vote for Tulsi Gabbard aren't the wealthy and powerful. So, yes, she is getting quite a bit of notoriety right now. And either this is the start of something amazing that could change the direction. Imagine me getting, and I'm saying this because I have a little bit of pride, imagine me getting behind the candidate that began the incredible change that's needed. She's the catalyst. She might not be the person that gets to kind of cross the finish line. She might be. We don't know. But she's like the Rosa Parks of this moment. Think of it. She's standing up. She's the Rosa Parks of this moment. And if you don't like that analogy, well, tough toenails. All right? Look, I mean, everything is on the line here. And you get rid of Donald Trump. You get rid of a guy who is likely corrupt, is probably not impeachable, but he's corrupt. And not only that, he's a horrible example to the citizenry, the young people, everybody of this country. A guy who pretty much just hung out with porn stars and druggies and things like that, although supposedly he never used drugs, but everybody he's hung out with has got a past of some kind that's either criminal or borderline or, just corrupt. So this is a moment, folks. This is a golden opportunity for our country. And Tulsi Gabbard has laid down the gauntlet. And I've never seen anything like this. So, first and foremost, follow Tulsi Gabbard. Donate to Tulsi Gabbard. If you can set up a monthly or a weekly or just donate whenever you have a few extra bucks, imagine getting her to the place where Bernie is or Elizabeth Warren as far as fundraising. And then obviously answer that phone and tell people, hey, it's Tulsi Gabbard. If you're on the fence, get off the fence. The time is now. All right, folks, I'm done. Talk soon.